You looking for me, you can find me at the barbershop. Pulling up to get a cut, bumping through the parking lot. I keep it clean, Rico's where I'm running to. If you in the city, then you probably gonna be coming to. Gang getting down, Reds getting down, Nick getting down, Ron getting down, just to name a few. Everybody blade on point. You trying to get fresh, I'm telling you this the joint. Hands down, top shop up in this vicinity. Promises age 9, LaRon been getting me. Temper on the side, I'm trying to grow out the waves.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the K.O.S. Knowledge Yourself Barber Club podcast, where we discuss the collection of wisdom on the sciences of everything in life. And we do so by interviewing our guest, asking him questions about his upbringing. And then we try to identify where he got a self-awareness, where he got a self-concept, and how he had knowledge of self to become the person he is today. And with me today, I have a good friend of mine, client, that his story impresses me very much, and you'll see why. He's not only an artist, he's also a firefighter, first responder, all of those good stuff, and he's an athlete. I know him personally because of the art. That's what attracted me to him and the interest. And without further ado, Binsky, right?
Jubinsky. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
bro.
man, you're an artist, you're a man of the city, and you're an athlete.
Yeah, Hey, listen, I'm 37 now. Body feel like
You're
I'm
no man.
50. I crack, I ache, but I feel good.
And you're 37.
37 now. Yup.
I remember when I was 37. It was good times. Good times.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, they say 37 is the new 22. So
They say a lot of things.
yeah, you know how that
But
goes.
I don't know what to believe anymore. So,
For sure.
you've seen the podcast.
Seen it.
You've seen the episodes. You did the reels.
Yeah. The reels are dope.
Yeah, thank you. What we're trying to do, man, is kick knowledge, maybe drop some gems. You know, hopefully somebody watches, and then, like my boy Tupac said it, I'm not going to change the world, but I might spark the mind or the brain of the person that will.
Yep.
And with that, I came up with the concept of knowledge of self, identified with it. It helped me grow as a person, so that's what we're trying to do.
It's dope.
So your story's a good one.
Yeah, so keep going. So where you want me to start?
I want you to start. Lately, I've been talking about the spark.
Okay.
Like when you had a conscious thought, like as a kid. What was the first thing you remember, like the furthest memory?
That's good. It would have to be, and it's kind of like abstract. So it's like, I guess I was in a crib, but looking out onto
Crib,
the,
like actual crib?
Yeah, like
Or
in
like
the
crib?
No, like in the
The
crib,
house.
like a baby. So I don't
Baby
know how
crib.
old I was, right?
Okay.
But I'll be in the crib, and the room will be like dark, but the door's cracked. I had my own room back then. And I'd just be like, man, I want to get out of here. But I couldn't. But it seemed like when you look out into the room, however big the room really was, it was small. But
It was tall.
for me, it was like,
And it
yeah,
was
like
far.
look at this gigantic room. I can't leave.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't cry. Just to sit there and wait and just be like,
Patience.
yeah. So that's probably, and I would have dreams about it later and, you know, try to put it together. And I'm
Flashbacks
sure,
in a sense?
for sure. So
That had to
That-
be around 2-3 years old.
that was pretty nuts. And then I would say first traumatic.
You want to go there?
Yeah, because
do it.
only because
Yo, I'm riding
we going
with,
with
you.
first
Let's go.
thoughts,
Let's go.
right? So as
Let's
soon
go.
as that, I'm like, damn, what's the earliest I remember? Like,
What's the most?
Some
I'm gonna
tr-
start asking people that.
Yeah.
What's your furthest traumatic memory.
so I'm gonna go like with physical trauma. So I was 4 years old. I was in pre-K, and we was like in a den, and my mom's just like, yo, go get me a toothpick. So I was like, all right, cool. So my brother started to get up. I had socks on. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna get it first. I'm competitive. My brother 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
So I'm 4, he's 7. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna get it first. For mommy, you know? So I'm running in the kitchen. I go to bend the corner, and I feel like I'm running fast, and I slipped on the towel, and I hit my head. Wow.
Split
On the
open.
corner cabinet, split open. So I'm laying, I'm like, oh, mommy. I don't know. And then she come around the corner, and she, oh, my God. You know, and then
And
she
she
start
loses it.
freaking out. Then
And
my,
she like my mom would have hit me.
look, watch this. Then my brother, the 7-year-old, he come around the corner. My brother. Now he freaking out. He running out the front door. Boom, running in the street.
Because he saw the blood.
Yeah, and I'm laying there, but I'm not like, I'm just like, damn, I don't know
You
what's
think
happening.
that was your first concussion?
Had to be.
Had to be, right?
Had to be.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be my last.
Exactly. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Right. But so I just remember it's dope because I ended up going to the hospital,
Stitched up.
stitched me up. I remember just laying there and looking at the blue paper that they cover the thing with. I'm sure they localized the area
Yeah.
first. He cut a hole in the blue paper, did the surgery, and he said, "You know what? You were so good." He walked me to the vending machine and bought me a pack of M&M peanut butter, the red bag.
All right, bet. That was the
And
first time you ever had
The
this?
first time I ever had it, and I'm trying to cut back on the sugar now, but I still eat that to this day.
So you would
Occasionally,
say that's your conscious thought was in that time.
for sure.
1, 2, 3, no, but 4 or 5.
That was
yes.
4. Yeah, that was 4. That was 4 years old, and I remember it was kind of cool because I would go to school and I had head was cut, scarred. And the girls like,
It was kinda cool.
you know, and it was
So it
like,
wasn't like the forehead; it was the top.
it was right. You can still see the scar right now, brother. It's right.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Right there.
Yeah, every time I
But
line
it
you
was,
up.
yeah. Remember, he's what? Word of my old boy. He pushed. You know, we always had these conversations.
Yeah.
I'm taking it. This, you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is. So that's
Your
all
old
love.
boy. Yeah, I remember the painting you did. That was one of my faves. It was amazing. It was dope.
Thank you, bro.
So 4 or 5 years old. When did you like actually start painting?
Painting was, I would always doodle and draw, and my mom would notice it, and it was cool because she went out of her way, and by the time I was in 3rd grade, she's like, "Man, you're always drawing and doodling. Like, let me find something for you." So she put me in the Magna Art program at Perrine Elementary. So,
Oh, wow.
So you start where they like say, okay, now you're gonna have 2 art classes instead of another elective.
Yeah, they're helping you develop
For
your
sure.
craft.
So it was like a farming school. They have it for each grade level as it increases. So it started at Perrine Elementary, then it went to R. Moten.
Yeah.
They had the Magna Art, and then Southwood Middle School had the Magna Art,
Okay.
and then Corey High School had the Magna Art. So I
You
did it
were
from
always top of your class.
I did it from 3rd through 12th. It's funny because we had me and my homeboy, we were in the art class, and we just would always leave class, go to the courtyard, socialize and draw. You know, the teacher didn't like it, but we had
Like a
certain
whole-
freedom
Yeah,
because we still produce work.
Got it.
So we have this thing called the AP art portfolio that you do at the every end of the year, and they grade it. The highest is a 5, the lowest is a 1, and it was
Okay.
like a big
And
deal.
it consists of your whole work of
Right, for that year.
For that
And they
year.
have like categories that you have to cover. So cool. They give you like a layout. So you have to follow it as you create works. It'd be something to say like expressive sunlight, like that. Whatever that
Whatever
means to
comes to
you.
mind.
There you go. Exactly. So they
That's
gave you a range to kind of work with, and you had to, let's say you had to create 5 works. So me and homie, we was always go outside and we would do our thing, and
Okay.
it came time to submitted it. We got scores back, and our teacher at the time, he was like, he wasn't too fond of us because
So he didn't give you a high score?
he doesn't grade it. It's graded by, I don't know if this is state or national. This is like
Oh, wow. So
it's like a big deal, right?
Okay.
So we got it back, and me and homie, we both got a 5. Only ones in the class get a 5. So he's like, they got it wrong this year. You know, those girls in there
Okay.
crying, like, yeah, he was so green.
So
I'm not
would
gonna
you say
it.
at this time you were self-aware?
For sure, because that's
That's when you were
that's
like,
probably
I'm an
11th
artist. I want to
grade.
be an artist. This is
Yeah,
my-
but I'm gonna be honest with you. It was the crowd I hung out with. It was more so we talked about sports and football. So although I had it and that my foundation was always art, it's kind of a secret. Like it was low key. Like
That's dope.
and I never
You kept
let
it to yourself,
right. I
more-
never
more
led with
personal.
it for sure.
You were good at sports because you ran quick.
Right.
You had agility.
I'm gonna tell you because I had an older brother. My brother. Whatever he did, I wanted to do, except for the first thing, which was gymnastics. I was like, nah, I'm good.
He did gymnastics.
He did gymnastics. He learned how to do a backflip. So once he did a backflip, I'm like, nah, I got to do gymnastics. I want to learn how to do a backflip.
And then you didn't like it.
No, at 3 weeks, I was like, nah, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
Scary?
So, no, I wish I wouldn't have because I want to know how to do a backflip.
I mean, I had an experience. I have a friend of mine, his name is Didi. He was like the one that did flips because his older cousin used to do gymnastics.
Uh-huh.
So he would do flips. And then one day I was like, damn, I want to learn. And then he's like, all right, put your foot right here.
Right.
I'm going to toss you and you just look back and do a flip.
That's it.
Dude, I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
I was like,
How'd you land?
I landed on my knees, like
Okay.
on all fours, like boom.
So if you did it 3 more times, you would have had it.
Yeah, but I didn't like that feeling. So that's why I'm saying I did that. I was like, yo, this is wild. Then I would do more like South Beach Pier.
Right.
Back in the 90s,
Right.
you could jump off the pier. Right there by second or
Right.
first.
Right.
We would jump off and this guy would do flips. And then I started doing flips. I didn't care because I landed in the water.
For sure.
So that was already when we were older though.
Let me ask you, what about trampoline?
Yeah, I was good in trampoline. But only front
Same.
flips.
Okay. So
Back flips, I didn't want to.
So since I was never able to do it on land, like you said, if it's off a boat into the water or if it's off the edge
So
of the
you were the
pool,
man on the trampoline.
oh yeah, I used to
Double,
yeah,
triple.
dude. We
I
had
bet
the
you
one where
can't do
it's
3.
yeah, as soon as you land, you got to backflip again. We used to get up to like 15, 16, get dizzy.
Nobody ever fell?
Yeah, all day. But
Yo, man, those
Yeah.
days are crazy. Like, I have kids. We have kids, and I could imagine them on the trampoline. I'd be like, no. I saw a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen like the spring pop and
Yeah,
cut somebody.
for sure.
I've seen
Especially
people land
when
on the
they're-
spring and get. Oh, that's nasty.
or the double jump where if somebody catch you while you're landing and they do it and it like propels you like
Yeah.
your parabolic. It's like a launcher. So
So you did sports, you did all those athletic things, and then you had the art on the side.
yeah,
You were self-aware that
yeah,
you were athletic and that you were gonna play sports.
yeah. Because word to my dad, I started pretty young. I started playing little league football, Pop Warner football.
Yeah.
65 pounds. So I probably was, let's say, 6 years old.
6 years
Yeah,
old.
6 years. I started at 6 years old. I paid 65 pounds, 65 pounds again, and then we ran track. And when we ran track, we met other coaches and people, and they was like, "Hey,
football.
send your kids to this park, not that park you at, not that little punk park."
So you were getting scouted, huh?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think they was
I
just
think they do, bro, because they take it
so.
serious.
Now it's just another world. Bro.
No,
It's
that
just-
was the beginning. That was
this-
like when it was about to pop off.
now it's nuts now. But so it was cool because once we went to that other park,
Mhm.
I saw a different like side of life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was raised pretty like my old boy did a really good job, and he's an air traffic controller. He retired out of Miami International Airport at 50. He was like, I'm done. He worked hard.
He did the pension plan.
Yeah, he told me he worked his whole life. He retired at 50. And, I was in college at the time. I was playing at FIU. And,
Yeah, but you're skipping ahead.
oh, my bad.
So we're at teenage, your middle school.
Okay.
You're playing football.
All right. So, yeah, playing football.
You're doing art on the side. You have a self-awareness pretty much like, okay, I love to draw. I pick a ball.
Yeah,
So this is my identity.
for sure.
So you develop that self-concept.
For sure. So it wasn't until we went to the other park my second year.
Which you were 14, 15.
No. Now I'm remember 60. So I was 6 years old,
Okay.
7 years old. Then we ran track when I was 7 years old. We met
So
those other
11,
coaches. 8 years
Teenage,
old.
Your
Nah,
growth spurt.
no, by 9 years old, that's when I'm scoring 3 touchdowns a game, pick sixes. And now I'm like, oh, okay, like this is fun.
easy.
This is,
This is-
like
I'm the man.
I like dudes giving me $5
Now
after the
talk
game.
about that first pop.
I
You
was
were like, I don't think I want to play football no more.
so it wasn't until my third year, my first year on Richmond Park, and that's when we used to have like if you came late,
Yeah.
it make you line up and hit everybody on the team. Bam,
I
bam,
remember
bam,
that. I
bam.
remember that.
Which to me is nuts because at 8 years old, I'm not driving to practice, coach. That's my you know what I mean? Like if my parents get me there late,
Yeah, but
why?
What they're really trying to do is toughen you up.
For sure. So
You know,
I'm
they
thankful
can't
for it.
tell
but at
you,
the-
okay, get hit 100 times.
So now you talking to 8-year-old Julian, right? So I'm like, nah, man, this is whack. So I told my mom, like, yo, I don't want to be here. Like, let's go. Let's clear.
Because that happened.
Yeah, I'm
You're hurt.
Yeah, I didn't like it. So she's like, well, your dad wouldn't want you because he was at work. He wasn't there. And then the coach was like, nah, miss, he ain't going to quit. Get back over there. He ain't going to quit.
Oh, so what'd you do? Like 2 or 3 hits and then you said, I'm done?
Nah, we was by like 7, 8,
The
9,
whole
10,
team.
11, the whole team. And I'm just like,
And they're,
come on, man.
I could imagine them like, oh, I'm going all in.
It's
So you were self-aware. So damn,
Yeah.
at a young age, self-awareness, you created a self-concept.
right.
Now we got to talk about the knowledge of self. When do you think you developed the knowledge of self? High school years or?
I think you reach back and kind of put stuff together, and that may start at an earlier age.
So when did you get that spark?
So probably high school when I started to
Visualize the future?
and develop, and I noticed like they treat me a little different. I got my braces off, they treat me a little different. I got this
yeah.
basketball jersey on and my shoulders out. Like, okay,
You started to have
because
that
okay, so
identity.
you know why though? Middle school was rough for me because
What middle school is that?
Southwood, and it wasn't like I held my own. I got in a fight.
Where's Southwood?
I did. It's in Palmetto Bay.
Okay, down south.
Yeah, right. It's like directly in the center of like a neighborhood.
Okay.
So it's kind of hidden. It's pretty cool. It's like it's not off of like a main street. So middle school rough just because I skipped kindergarten. So I was always a year behind.
Oh, so
from
when
a
you came to
very
school,
young
they put
age.
you.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back. This is a story. This is like a milestone in my life.
Okay.
I was in kindergarten. I'm like, Mommy, I'm bored because now I'm in a public school for kindergarten. I was at a private school for pre-K when 4 when I split my head.
Okay.
So now I'm like, I'm bored. So she went to talk to the teacher. She's like, I don't want him to regress because I was counting to 100 in pre-K. Now I get to kindergarten and public school. There's a lot of these 5 years old first time in school, and they're like,
that's
we counting
cool
to
that
10.
they signed off on it though.
Right. So this is how they did it. They was like, look, just send him to first grade, see how he does, and play it by ear, not nothing. So I'm like, all right. So now I'm looking like
Pressure.
ooh, I'm telling you,
At a young
pressure. I'm
age.
5 years old,
Wow.
and I remember crying because I didn't like the haircut I got, and I'm like, man, they gonna pick at me in first grade. But I promise you, right? So what is that? That's looking back. It's like, damn, what was up with my self-esteem, or why was I so concerned about how these older kids viewed me? Like,
why
that's,
do you think that was?
I don't know, because I had an older brother and he was 3 years older than
But
me.
your older brother, would he tease you and stuff like that or no?
I'm sure, like every
normal,
brother.
yeah.
Let me tell you,
That's probably
every
why.
brothers are probably.
why.
So look, we get the first spelling test. That's right. We get the first spelling test, and she's like, 1, bird. The bird flies. A bird. I'm like, cool. 2, tree. The tree is green. Tree.
Okay.
Right. So by the time she gets to 4, I'm panicking because I'm thinking we got to write the whole sentence, Gene.
Oh.
Right. So by 4, I'm like, you got to slow down. And she look at my paper. She's like, no, sweetie, just the word. She's like, I say the word, and then I use it in a sentence. I say the word again, and I'm like, oh,
easy.
And after that, it kind of calmed me down because I had this such a high expectation.
For you to be able to, did you do it well?
Yeah, because I was trying to keep up. So yeah, bird, stone, yeah, I could do that.
No, but the sentence.
Yeah, well, we didn't need to do the sentence. All we had to do was the word. I was trying to do the sentence.
Yeah, did you
I was
do
giving
a good
myself
sentence at least?
Yeah, I was trying to keep up, but once she saw that it was only the word, I was like, oh, I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, so then I slowed down. So now fast forward, I'm always a year behind. So I'm in middle school now. I'm still losing teeth, and it's a girl in my art class, and she ended up getting pregnant. 6th grade. So what am I, 11? Maybe 10. So it was like, damn, this is nuts. Like,
and she got it pregnant?
Yep, 6th grade. So it's just like when you
she came to school pregnant.
Yep. And then we didn't see her anymore.
Okay, time out. What were your thoughts?
To be honest with you, I don't know if 6th grade I could conceptualize how she got pregnant, like blood raw.
But you knew that it was a consumption. Right?
Yeah, I knew there was a baby growing inside of her and she was about to have a kid. And I'm like, wait.
But you didn't know how.
And I guess I didn't think about, like, nah.
Do you remember her name?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say it on here.
Okay.
Because I thought about it. I almost did it, and I was like, no, you know what?
Yeah, you're right.
Keep it classy. So.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, it's nuts, man. So I'm going through that. So same thing, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. By the time 8th grade, girls just like, but I'm still like, I'm good. Like he could play the little. It just felt a lot of pressure. And
so you felt pressure. You had a self-concept. You were self-aware. You knew what you were doing. You had crazy obstacles, I imagine. So let's go. Let's go to high school. And you started shining.
So
I know that you're a blue chip prospect for sure.
High school I was in the era right before YouTube. So YouTube was that instant, now coach don't got to travel miles.
You could promote yourself way better.
That's it. But this is
reels must have been amazing.
This is brand new. So we were still off VHS from my old boy taping it in the stands and cutting it up. That's where we were.
And he was retired. So he had time.
By this time, he was still working. He retired my 2nd or 3rd year in college is when he retired. So now,
let me ask you this. If you think your father wasn't able to go and help you out with sports and these type of things, do you think you would have made it to where you made it?
No. And I forgot to say this as well. My father passed about 6 years ago at 62 years old. And so he did get to enjoy his retirement life, 12 years of it. But I remember when he passed, one of the homies from that I used to play on the park with, now we're adults.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, man, I always remember, bro, your daddy was at every practice, at every game. He was always there. And I thought about it as a grown man, like, damn, that's dope. That must have meant something, you know? And like, I appreciate it. I'm glad I appreciated him.
I played soccer my whole, like you, since I was 10. My mom was always working, dude.
Yeah.
My dad was gone. He passed away. So my whole life, I never really had that look at my parents.
Right.
And fam was always working, or they didn't have a car.
Yeah.
I was the kid that was always like, yo, can I go with you?
Right. Like,
and then one of my friends, Saul, shout out to Saul, his father was an amazing gentleman. And he understood my struggles.
Right.
So he was like, don't worry. Every game, I'll pick you up and we'll go to the game. Or come to the house and I'll take you and then I'll drop you off.
Dope.
So that helped me.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked.
Dope.
Because there's a lot of people out there that have kids, man, that are not there for the kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even that they don't want to be there for the kids.
Circumstances, whatever it is.
Man, or maybe sometimes even like baby mamas.
Facts.
The mothers get in the way and they use the kid as a weapon. So if
unfortunately
you're a female out there and you're watching this, like, don't use a kid as a weapon because it affects. My mom did it to my family.
It affects it affects everyone.
And I remember I used to be like, yo, why are you bugging? You know, because I was self-aware like you at an early age. And dads, if you got time and you could do it, man. You don't understand how much it means. Like I personally, my daughter's dancing now, and I had to go to those dance recitals. Bro.
Yeah.
It's the most torturous thing I've ever been through in my life. Bro.
Yeah.
Check this out. You got to get there early.
Right.
Because they got to prep and get ready.
Okay.
And then you got to wait until it's their turn to dance. But you don't know the order.
Right.
So you're there like
watching
10, 11 hours watching other kids, other routines.
Waiting on yours.
On your kid. And then when they go,
you're
like, okay, cool, you did good. Now you got to wait for the award ceremony.
Oh, my God. And they start from like 8th place. In 13th place.
And I'm looking
with the orange
like,
ribbon.
Yo, this is crazy.
Or do they just do top 3? Like, how is that drawn out?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is you go there and you sit, and then you got to buy food and then you got to hope and pray that it's quick. But then if it's quick, you still got to wait for the ceremony. It's like, it's
a lot.
It's a lot.
But
like a lot. Like my girl said, like you being there makes
it
means the world to them. So I was like, okay, let's go.
That's facts.
So yeah, your dad's filming you.
Yeah, so
VHS.
Now we're doing VHS. So I didn't play varsity until I was in 11th grade. So I was 15.
Yeah, but I'm sure there was a lot of good
my brother was a running back year before. So he was 3 years older than me in years and 2 in school.
Okay.
9th, 11th, 10th, 12th.
Skipped over to that. Okay.
So as soon as he left, went there, had junior year was decent, and then senior year was like, oh, okay. Like, and I remember senior year was dope because it was the first game of the season. I think we played Sunset, and coach had put me on punt return. Like, I want you to return punts. I'm like, all right, I ain't practice it or nothing. Quite the opposite. So punted it to me. I like, boom, I muffed it. Got hit. Bam, right? Fumble. Sunset, they recover it. So now they keep going. I'm like, damn, I can't believe that's the first. So I'm waiting there. So then
how did that make you feel?
I felt like shit because I'm like, no, this is supposed to be my campaign. Like, this is my senior year. Like, my brother already got a football scholarship.
I'm sure you fumbled before and all that stuff happened.
Let me tell you something. Fumbling is the worst thing in the world. There's probably only one thing worse than a fumble, and that's an own goal in soccer.
Oh, yeah.
But fumbling is a close second because guess what? When you fumble that ball, everybody in the same uniform as you, like, damn, sorry ass bitch.
Like, damn.
Yeah, everybody watching on TV, sorry.
And all the other people are in your face. Like,
but it's just it's because you feel like you let everybody down.
Yeah.
Everybody, right? So you can only hope that they don't score off of it and you can stop it, whatever. So that's the only redemption.
Was pressure then. You had to come back with a vengeance.
Right. So our defense stopped them on the 5-yard line. First play, boom, 95 yards. Let's go.
You for
I
real?
redeemed myself 100%.
What was the play? You remember the play?
Nah, it was like a 33 power or some shit. I do a lateral.
What's that for the people that don't play?
So a running back, facts. Basically, if you're a running back, you take a lateral step to the left, and then the quarterback gonna bring you the ball, and you go through the 3-hole, preferably, or whatever's open, and you just.
Is that also when the center kind of like hooks? And
nah, that's a trap.
That's a trap.
Those are traps and counters are dangerous because you got them big boys running around the corner. And they're like,
yeah, that happened to me when I I was playing football and I was
Uh-huh.
playing defensive end.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting there and the play is, blitz. So I turn that corner and I see the quarterback wide open. I'm like about to
Yes.
hit him. The center comes out of no. I didn't see him.
Right.
All I heard was like a loud
Yeah.
crack. And then I just opened my eyes and everybody's like, yo, you all right? I'm like, what the hell?
Let me ask you, was that your first concussion?
Yeah, and my last. Because when I got home that day, I remember sitting down and saying, I don't think I want to play this sport anymore.
Damn.
Why? I didn't feel normal, dude. I felt a little off.
For sure.
And I would look at my hands and they're all bruised up. Because when you start playing football at the beginning, you use your arm a lot.
For sure. And you get lumps and yeah.
And then I started looking at myself and I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is crazy.
You're beat up.
And I come from playing soccer.
Right.
Where your ankles get a little torn, maybe a hidden shin, but nothing like that.
Yeah, it's destroying you. Yeah, no, for sure.
So after that day, I was like, you know what? Football's not for me.
Smart move.
And I just stayed playing soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer and basketball.
Yeah.
It was too hard to do all three.
For sure. Three sports is hard. 3 sports is almost impossible.
I mean, I tried it, but I was like, nah, I can't.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
And then I played baseball and I got bored and I was like, this is boring.
Yeah. So I was happy because my kids, they stopped playing football at an early age and they was like, we want to only do baseball.
Oh, really?
And I didn't. Yeah, and I was
Your
like,
kids are.
I was like, man, that's dope, right? So I was happy about it. They were probably, let's say, 11 and 9, 12 and 10. So I was like, all right, cool. So then for 4 years, it was just baseball. And then one day when the older was in the 9th grade, he came home with football equipment. It was like, I'm going to play football.
Oh, they scouted
And
him.
I'm just like, what? We was like.
He knows that you played, so.
But he said he said straight up, he's like, Papi, I like the energy of football more than I like the energy of baseball. And I'm like, what can I say about that? I'm like.
I mean, I don't hate on baseball. I like watching baseball. I think it's an amazing sport.
It is.
But yeah,
I wish
understand them.
Yeah, I did 100%.
Yo, my mom ranked on me one day. I got home with my baseball uniform and she looked at me. She's like, I thought you had a game. I was like, I just came back from the game. She's like, you're all clean. I'm
what?
Like, yeah. They didn't hit the ball on my side.
That's crazy. You could fall asleep out there.
Because she's used to me coming home from soccer with jersey all wet from sweat, socks all dirty from slide tackling. I used to love slide tackling.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, I don't have to wash your uniform. I was like, no, we're good.
Dope.
That's when I was like, forget. Yeah. Well, back to the play. So you took it 95 yards.
Yeah.
Senior year.
Yeah, that was the first game senior year.
So as a self-concept, you knew you had your skills. You were ready to do your thing. You went through some turmoil. But I guess the life experiences helped you get through all this?
For sure.
Or you never had a doubt? Like you were like, yo, I'm going to do better.
Nah, it's
self-awareness.
I always had a measuring stick. It was my older brother.
Okay.
So basically it's like, okay, let me see what he doing.
So he had a cheat code.
Yeah. That's why honestly, yeah, because it's just like that's who you're gonna look up to. He there every day, he older. He's like an older version of yourself, and you kind of sizing him up and you go through what you got to go through. It matures you in some ways faster.
I had that with my uncle.
Yeah.
My uncle was more of a straight shooter, and I was more of a wild child.
How much older was he?
7 years old.
Okay.
So when I was 12, he was when I was 10, he was 17.
Got you.
So when I was 12, 13, he was already in a senior in high school. I remember seeing him play, and I was like, wow, I want to play.
Yeah.
And then I see the stands, and everybo's like cheering. I'm like, oh, I want to play.
Dope.
So that was my drive.
Dope. So finished that first high school game my senior year. I think it was like 10 for 247 and 4 touchdowns. I wanted to keep playing, but my coach at the time, it was Frank Ponce. He's at like Appalachian State right now. He was like, no, man, you're gonna get hurt. You're done. Sit your ass down. I was like, all right. Watch this. Next series, the quarterback broke his arm. And I'm like, and that was a homie. And he played safety too. And it was just like, and he looked at me, he's like, you see, motherfucker? I was like, where?
So you understand.
Yeah, I get it. Right. 100% he did. And I just was like, all right, cool. Like, and that's when it's just like, damn, like, how do you, I sat back and I'm like, yo, that's ill. Yeah. Like, how do you?
Like, I was watching the podcast of Haslam and Miller. Have you seen that one?
No.
They have a podcast. I forgot what it's called now, but I watch it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about the new center we got. Where?
Yeah.
He was giving them advice. He's like, look, if you average 1 rebound per minute, your stats are going to be off the chain. And you don't have to worry about anything else.
Dope.
And if you fall behind on your rebounds, just know that the next one, you got to get 2 in a row.
Dope.
He goes, if you keep that up,
Yeah.
You're going to beat
Like
records.
a
And I
maniac
need you to do that
mentality.
because I think Bam is going to break my record. So I need you to break his record.
To slow him down.
Yeah, and I
No,
was like, oh,
that's hard.
But, you know?
Yeah. But if that thought process, if you do that, everything will handle itself.
Correct.
You don't got to think about nothing else. Like you said,
That's a
that's
self-concept.
Yeah, for sure.
And you only get that with self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You develop a self-concept, and then you have knowledge of self.
Dope.
And then you could project whatever it is you want to project from your mind,
True.
your spirit.
True.
And then you have intuition into play.
Yeah.
When do you think in your lifespan did you like start listening or using your intuition?
Ooh. Let me think of that. So
It wasn't after that head crack?
which one? This one?
Yeah.
The one.
Corners.
I'll be honest.
Barefoot no more.
I'll be honest. Yeah, that had to slow me down a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, man. It's like just going through hearing the stories back, and when my dad came home and saw they just left a note. We went to the hospital and it's a floor full of blood. He's like, "What is he thinking?" You know?
Oh, this is before text messages.
Right.
Yeah,
It's if I'm for this is 1991.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think about that, but for what I actually went through, I remember I got some candy at the end of it too. So I'm like, I'm like, okay,
stitches for some candy, I'm like,
for sure. So I think for sure I use that, like you said. All right, no socks. Obviously, I don't want to go through that again, but I felt like I was in autopilot a lot of my childhood. It just was like, this is easy.
The blessings was just coming.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I knew when my father passed, I had never really been through nothing in life. That's when I first thought, I'm just like, damn, I never felt nothing close to this. Not saying that you should, but it just was, it was like.
We had a guest here, Fricks. He's the one that designed one of my logos, and he's a cool guy. And I had a conversation with him just here, and I was trying to okay, where in life did you have a struggle? And he's like, nah, I never had.
Dope.
It was either that he never had a struggle, or maybe he didn't want to share.
Right.
But regardless, I told him, I go, damn, it's crazy because I've had a lot of people on the podcast, and they all give me the story like, oh, when this happened or when this happened. But very rare do you get anybody that says, oh, no, I really never had any hardships. I really was just chilling, and opportunities arose. I took advantage, and so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
and your mom did a good job.
Yeah,
man.
they did.
They kept you.
Shout out to them. They did.
They kept you doing good. Yo, it's tequila with pineapple is the bomb.
It's smooth. It doesn't. You won't even taste the tequila.
Yeah, man. Yeah, my boy Rec, he came and he did the podcast and he put me on. I was like, what? So shout out to Rec. So okay, now high school.
Yeah.
You got the real. Your dad did everything for you. You pretty much have a self-concept. You're self-aware. Mm-hmm. How's your confidence level through the roof?
Not really, because I always was kind of the age thing. I was always aware of it. So maybe I use it as kryptonite sometimes. You know how your mind play tricks on you sometimes?
Well, sometimes.
That is. Let me tell you something.
Sometimes.
When the best thing you could do is recognize it. So now you know it's there. Now you can work on it. If you can't recognize it's there, now you like, what is going on?
That's what I tell people when they tell me that, look, I don't smoke because it gives me anxiety. I'm like, dude, it doesn't give you anxiety. What it's doing is trying to cleanse you of the negative shit that's in your mind. And it's bringing it up so you could deal with it. All you got to do is recognize the fact that you're feeling this because you have to deal with this.
Right.
If you don't deal with this, you're gonna continue to have this.
Right.
Anxiety.
It's not going anywhere. It's waiting. It's
so
in
you're
line.
trying to hide from it.
For sure. It's waiting to be addressed.
Hiding from your own mind.
That's what it is. It's almost like self-procrastination. Like you don't want to face it, but
mental self-procrastination.
There you go. I like that.
And a lot of people deal with this because I cut 10, 50 people a day, and they all have these anxieties.
For sure.
I tell them the same thing. I was like, yo, man, you got to face it.
I don't know if you realize this. You know you're a therapist.
Yeah, that's what people tell me. But like what I always tell people is, all I know is that we don't know. So if anybody tells you, trust me, bro, I know, they don't know shit.
Facts.
And just the fact that they tell you, trust me, I know, is like, you don't know. I mean, you might have an idea. You might have an educated guess. You might have an experience.
Right.
That you could say, oh, but this. And
right.
But do you really know?
It's a percentage thing. If it's not a 0% chance that it can't happen, it's possible. So, it's like he may go through some 10 times, 8 out of the 10, it works this way. He gonna say, bro, I'm telling you, bro. He's going off of his experience, his little 10.
Yeah, so he's gonna tell you what he thinks is that you need to hear, but it might not be. But sometimes
you land.
I get my best information from people that are not even speaking to me. Like I'll be somewhere and I'll hear somebody say something and I'll be like, oh shit, okay.
For sure.
You know?
I feel like the best lessons is the ones you don't have to go through. But sometimes I think the ones that hold the most are the ones that you do go through. You like, oof, okay. Like I know for certain, like
This, if
I
I
went
make a
through
left
that.
here,
I
I
know,
know it's that's
right,
If I make it right here,
right. I know it because I did that. But sometimes somebody you could be ear hustling, and now that's a bad thing. And somebody could say, hey, if you keep going straight, they got the roadblock off up there. So, oh, he just put me on. Let me make it right here.
Yeah,
Boop.
let me not prove him wrong.
Exactly. Let me not just
bet.
hear it and be like,
Exactly.
maybe it's over now. You know what I mean?
So high school, confidence, self-awareness, knowledge of self pretty much because you knew you were going to school, right?
Yes.
You were going from school to
college. Yep. I got a full ride to FIU to play football. Yep.
All right. So how did that make you feel?
I remember that first night in my dorm. Well, first I was excited to get it because I feel like I had accomplished something.
And this is when FIU started really building the program.
Yeah, their first year, their inaugural.
What year was this?
This was 2004. So I graduated high school 2004.
Was that the year of the fight?
Nah, that's 2 years later. That's 06. That's 06.
For you guys that don't know what I'm talking about, go right now, search FIU, University of Miami fight.
Yeah, 2006. It was October something.
We'll get there though.
Yeah,
we'll let you research right now.
So basically, 04. So I think FIU first inaugural season was 2001, maybe 2002, something like that.
Yeah.
So I got there when the program was like 2-3 years. It was still very fresh.
But the school, what year was that?
The
04?
04 is when I got there. Yep. I was there 04 to 08.
When did I go to? Oh, I'm so old that I don't even remember. I went to FIU around that time. 04, 05, 06.
Yeah.
But so I think it was 5, 06. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. So,
but I was in and out.
I feel you.
I didn't like the campus.
Yeah.
I didn't like the vibe. And nothing wrong with FIU. FIU is cool. I don't know, man. I wasn't.
That place is different now.
Yeah. But at the time, I was just like.
Nuts. It's huge.
Like, you ever seen the movie Higher Learning?
Yeah.
It was like that. I look around and I just see like a little click over here, a little click over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't fit in with none of these people, man. Like, I'm in a different vibe, you know?
Dolo, he was like, I don't want to kick it with them.
I'm a kid that came from nothing, that just made a promise to my grandma to finish school, and I'm here and I'm doing what I got to do, but I don't want to chill here. I'm not excited to be here. This is not my dream. This is just the thing I have to accomplish.
Got you. This is a goal.
Because I had self-awareness, self-concept, knowledge of self, and I was like, I got to finish this because the promise that I made to my grandma. So I have to do it.
Dope.
And at that point, I'm doing something that nobody's in my family's ever done, so I have no guidance, no direction. I don't know what the hell an associate is.
Right.
I just know I got to take these classes.
Right.
And then I take classes that my counselor.
Right.
And then I end up taking some dumb shit
that you don't need.
And then I'm like, what the? And then I'm like, yo, this is whack. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, that's a bad.
What's the fastest way I get out of here?
That's a bad experience.
To
enter college is like.
But then I discovered the Art Institute, and that was a different.
Dope. That was more your speed.
Yeah, because it was artistic. It was focused on a skill set, like if you have it or not.
But
let's ride.
That's dope that you were a magnet to that in a sense, because you went somewhere where you didn't fit. You were that cube in that circular.
And that's why I asked you about intuition. Because I was like, yo, that's not my tribe. That's not my tribe. This is not my place. I don't feel comfortable. Let me finish this. Get out of here.
Word.
Like I committed to it. Let me stick to it. I finished. I graduated. Okay, I got my associates. I'm out.
Yeah.
And then I went to go do the fine arts degree. And that's when I started developing more artistic feel to everything.
Got you.
So we talked about your football, FIU. Were you painting at this time?
Yeah. Well, so as soon as I got to college, I stopped doing art. I was like,
fully focused on football.
Yeah, I was more so like, man, I'm tired of this art, man. Like, I've been doing this I had to take PE in the summer because instead of having any elective, it was 2 art classes, and that's all the way from 9th grade to 12th grade.
So they made you take that? Oh, because everybody has
a magna art. So yeah, so it was like.
So you had to go to summer school?
Yeah, to do just the like regular PE, because I couldn't do it in the school year because I don't have no available time.
That's a good thing. It is. You play sports, you were running, you were doing your thing.
The problem is like I had to do a photography class. At the time I wasn't into photography, but guess what? I still got to do it. So they force feed you. Like, oh, guess what? Now you're gonna take
film photography.
Yeah, because
people don't know.
Remember, I'm visual, and I'm a visual artist. Paintbrush and the canvas, and I'm like, I don't want that camera. Why do I got to learn how to develop film? I don't want to do that. But guess what? You got to. So now you got to take notes, and that's when I started to draw with a pen, and I would like draw like the little, like it was a flex in high school. Like, look, bro.
Did you ever do that effect that you put the drawing on top of the film
Nah,
when you develop it?
nah. What is that?
Yeah, it's kind of how they did Cool World and all that stuff. It's layering.
Ah, gotcha.
So you make the picture, but then you add another layer to it, and then it kind of stacks up, and it looks like an actual picture.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that's how they did that, but
Crazy.
it makes sense because that's how like on Procreate on like the tablets now.
Yes,
And you know
they
how
have
it is with
layers.
Adobe, yeah, and that's that makes sense. That's cool. So that's
But this was
so originally-
layering physical.
right? So it's
So
just
you will
like
put,
this.
and then you'll take that out, and then you put another one, and then it'll make one picture. It seems like you stack.
Nah, that's dope. Nah, I've never done
Oh
that.
yeah, we did that in high school, but it was hard because and it was expensive. You know, the paper, everything you have to use.
Mhm.
If you don't get it right,
Right.
the first or second time,
Right.
they're like, "Yo, that's it. No
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
That's
It's-
it. You can't
you
use
messed
no
it
more
up.
school paper."
Yeah, it is what it is. Limit on supplies.
So you were not that into the art yet.
So a semester goes by in college, and I'm like, let me take art class. I kind of miss it. So then I take this art
College.
class. Yeah, this is freshman year.
Intro to art,
Nah, it was it had to be
art history.
just painting. It was more just something physically. You just make art. So
Is that the one that they make you do with the chalk?
this one was more like painting. So it's like
Okay.
painting 101 or whatever, or
it.
painting 1103. So it was like, let's say the highest entry level you could take. I just
Okay.
wanted to dabble. I was like, oh, why not? I've always done it. Muscle memory.
Yeah.
For some reason, I want to paint. So I go, and we had to decide first. You know, I don't really fit in, but it's cool. I want to be here. I want to, you know. So we painting, and then we got an assignment
But
to
what do you
do.
mean you fit in?
like-
Everybody was kind of nerdy.
No, it was just like I was not typecast, but I was like,
Football player. Just
there
trying
you
to
go. There you
Get,
go.
football player just wants to get the credit.
Right.
Got it.
So I'm just like, so I'm there, and then we had an assignment to do a self-portrait. But what they made you do was they said, get the photo in black and gray, graph it, and however many boxes those are, now enlarge each box and put it on.
Which you still use to this day. Damn, I seen it because when you put like the progressive pictures on your Instagram,
those boxes.
I
that's
remember
my-
learning that in art school.
Yeah, so it's just an easy way to blow up proportions. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I enjoy that stage, but it's
You killed it.
It's a time thing. So yeah, so when we get there, I hang it up. I do the assignment. I hang it up. We have to display it. And as I'm hanging it up, this girl walks up to me and she goes, "You didn't do that." I said, "What do you say?" She goes,
You didn't do that.
"She goes, you did that?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And then the teacher comes to me. She's like, "Sweetie, like what?" I guess it's not normal.
No,
Because
because it's
it-
probably the intro.
Right. So she talked to me. I told her my history. She's like, "You need to be majoring in this." I'm like, "Nope, not doing it. Not doing it."
What did you major in?
I ended up getting a BBA, a Bachelor's of
Okay.
Business Administration. The emphasis was marketing. So
How's that worked out so far?
it's let me tell you, it's so much has progressed since. Is that now if I went back and took that same course, imagine how much they'd have a whole semester on social media presence.
Correct.
Because remember back then it was
Yeah.
right. It was just prior.
Correct.
As a matter of fact, remember Facebook initially when Facebook came out. It was
Yeah.
for colleges. You had to have
what was the other one?
you had to have a college email.
What was the other one before Facebook?
MySpace.
MySpace.
MySpace was
So it's MySpace, Facebook.
right.
Yeah, now it's MySpace, No, there's no more MySpace.
MySpace is gone now.
There's Facebook, Instagram, or the you bro.
Yeah. Snapchat. And, yeah. No, it's crazy.
TikTok.
Right. So, whatever. I took another art class with this teacher, and she would help me on assignments. Like, oh, I'm gonna have my husband cut the wood, and you could just. I was like, all right, cool. And I'm like, man, why is this lady so nice to me? You know, she wanted me to major in it, but I didn't.
She saw your talents.
And so what happened eventually is I just kept taking art classes, and one day my academic advisor puts me to the side, and he's like, hey man, you know, all you need is if you take art history and one more art class, you know, that's all you need for a minor. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, what'd you say? He's like, yeah, take 2 more classes and you could get a minor in art. I was like, dope.
Okay.
So I ended up taking art history and one more like digital art class. And
okay.
I gotta end up getting a minor in art. So look, I'm trying to run from it and I can't. It's just now this is.
Why do you think that is, man?
I don't know.
Because the same thing happened when we were barbering. Like, it's not, I've always cut because
It's
I like to cut, but it's always like there dwelling. And then when I needed it the most, blah,
part of your energy. It's what you are a creator.
what you construct, huh?
You
We were
are a
talking about
creator.
that earlier.
Yeah,
Where you manifest.
Yeah,
So self-consciousness comes, I guess, from self-awareness, self-concept. And then you get knowledge of self, and then you start using your intuition, and I guess it all meshes together and brings you towards like a magnetic pull to whatever it is that's meant for you.
right.
Because there's a lot of people that do things, and then it's kind of like they have things set for them,
Right.
but they don't get to the place where they're meant to be.
For sure. It's 100%.
And that's what we're trying to like help people understand. Like, if you have a self-awareness, self-concept, self, knowledge of self, you could project whatever it is that you think. And that's why we're here.
I agree 100%. It's one of those things like you see here in sports. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably right. And it sounds basic, but it's like, oh, it's true. If I approach anything, if I gotta lift some weights and I approach it like, man, it's too heavy, it's hurt my back, you know. And as soon as I feel it, now guess what? That's that energy. Like, nah, I'm good, I'm off it. But then if I look at it, I'm gonna throw this up, man. Like, what's up?
You know what happened to me one
And
time?
we
were in because in my senior year, check this out. This is how psycho it was. We used to go to bell would ring for first period at 7:30. We had practice at 6. We had to run 2 miles under 15 minutes.
No way.
We ran the 2 miles under 15 minutes because if not, we had to run 2 more miles after school and practice. And this is soccer practice. So we all got to a point where we ran the 15. So we would do that in the morning. Then we'll go to weight training. And our school lacked in the gym. Like, there was no good weights. Everything was, you couldn't tell what anything was.
Right.
And there was one that some kid thought it would be funny that he will put on the 45 plate, he'll put 25.
Kids are evil,
yo, but check it. I'm like a 16, 17-year-old kid. I grabbed this thing that I'm thinking is 25, and that's what I usually work out with. And I'm doing the workout. Bling, bling.
That's
bling,
crazy.
Bling, bling. And I'm like, boom. And then everybody's like, oh. And then another friend of mine grabs it. And then he's like, oh. And I'm like, yo, man, what's up? And he's like, man, this ain't. And then he looked on the other side. He goes, bro, these are 45s. I was like, oh. I never thought I could push that.
For sure. If so, now had you known it was 45, that performance would have been different, probably. Been like, damn, that's crazy.
So that's when I started thinking. I was like, man, it's all, But that, it works sometimes and it didn't, because it got me a little too confident sometimes.
Got you.
And
like you felt like you could lean on it, like.
No, I just felt like I do it. No, I can't do it.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm trying to get across. Like, your mind, you project whatever you believe is. You construct what is reality.
For sure. I agree with that 100%.
So you got your AA in art?
I ended up getting a minor in art and a BBA.
And all of this, you're still running for the school?
Yep, still playing football.
How's that going?
It was okay, so it was good because it was a new experience. You got to see the how the program just increased where it came from.
Correct.
When I got there, they used to build our stadium out of wood benches and cover like the track.
So that was the third year, right? That
they was doing that from the first year in 2004. That's how they would do the stadium.
Okay.
And then 2005, we went, and I remember we played like Texas Tech on the road. They was nationally ranked. And before that, we played Kansas State on the road. They was nationally ranked.
Okay.
And then I thought about like, damn, so Kansas State paid us X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars to play them. 8 days later, Texas Tech did the same thing. We were like the cupcake games for these. But then you think about it, that college football team just grossed $1.8 million for the athletic program at FIU in 8 days. Money making. For sure. So fast forward to college football today, it's nuts, but I think those kids deserve it. But I digress.
Deserve money.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but now they're allowed to make bread.
100%, I do. That part's cool. But so it was dope because fast forward to 2006, which is my redshirt sophomore year, my third year there, and that was the year so this is the year of the
fight.
Of the year.
All right, here we are.
Yeah,
this is what I wanted to know.
This is the year of that. So
what game was that? That was the second game, third game?
Nah, But that probably was like the 6th game of the
Six
year.
of the year. And what was the record? You know your record?
Yeah, dude. Unfortunately, I think we were 0-5. But let
Damn,
me tell you something.
So it was
Let
boiling.
let me tell you something. I'll be honest with you. And some of the homies, I'm still in a group chat with them. We played on that, that was probably the best. We ended up going 0-12 that year.
So people don't know. Drew was the running back.
Yeah, I played running back at FIU from 04 to 08. So that 06 team, that probably was the best 0-12 team you'll ever see.
You
We
guys
had
probably
guys
lost
get-
by like
We had guys.
field goals.
Yeah, first game we lose by 7-6, Middle Tennessee. Second game was either Maryland or South Florida. Maryland, we ended up losing by 10-14. We had the ball to throw in the touchdown at the end. We had a chance to win. We didn't. I think that was game 2, Maryland. Game 3 was South Florida. We ended up losing 20-21. We lose by 1.
Wow. So you guys are knocking.
So it's just like we
You're knocking, you
couldn't
can't
figure
get
it
in.
out. We couldn't figure it out. But that wears on these man. You can't trust an 18 to 22-year-old kid. You got a lot going on outside of sports, especially if that program isn't
So you're 0-5 against the University of Miami.
right. So
Everybody's talking shit because I remember it was the first game you guys played.
first
together.
time we played them.
Everybody's talking shit.
Right.
This is what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
All the players that go to FIU are the ones that didn't want.
Nah.
That's
It's
why we were
it's
hearing the barbershops.
right. Yeah. That's
After the fight.
right.
Like
no.
why
But
this shit happened.
at the time there was probably, I just noticed because of football, I think 119 Division 1A college football teams.
Okay.
So there's a lot in between UM and FIU as far as choices on where you want to go and
Okay.
all that. That's the reality of it. But that's good, like
That's what it
chalkboard.
was. That's what-
That's good
that's the barbershop
That's
talk.
good billboard material. like,
they're just mad that
they didn't get nah, it's worlds between. But
And
so
we also heard, oh no, because one of the players is hooking up with this girl.
I
I'm
heard
like,
that,
what?
you know, this guy, this party,
Yeah,
you heard all that, but nah, it wasn't any of that. So to be honest with you, it was a good game.
Take us to the huddle. Take us.
So basically, I'm on the sideline. It's the third quarter. It's still 0-0.
And this UM has a squad.
Yeah, they were decent. I'm sure they were ranked around that time. Somebody
Yeah.
look it up. So this is Don Stroctor's our head coach, and it's the third quarter. Zip. They finally score a touchdown. It's 6-0 now. So our defense is arguing with each other, something. So they come on for the PAT, and I think, I don't remember how it happened. Somebody rolled the tape, but I think we jumped off sides and like wrecked the kicker, like rocked them.
Oh,
And
they're
went,
like,
because they was
yo.
chirping. They was
Yeah,
chirping.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I didn't play defense, but I know they was chirping. It was back and forth. They was chirping. So once they rocked the kicker, you know, they're like, hold up.
Yeah.
But I think our defense had already reached that boiling point where they was
that
already.
was before the half.
That was after the half. This is
So this is boiling point.
this is third quarter now. It's finally 6-0. You know, they probably felt like they should have stopped early that drive. They're arguing amongst each other, our defense. And so they're like, all right, I'm sure, you know, it's in the game, but them boys
Oh,
talking the
shit.
whole game.
All right.
So long story short, kicker got rocked. It was either kicker or the holder, and then chaos ensued. They didn't stop. Their entire sideline ran over. We had some guys run out, but they were more towards our
then
sideline.
you started the fight.
Nah, it was by then it was already going. So what they ended up doing is they ended up reviewing the tape and kicking off
Let me get that.
anybody who left the sideline
Yeah.
when this happened. If you stepped on that field, you end up getting suspended the next game.
So you got suspended for the game or for the season?
No, just the following game. The people who got suspended for the season was
All right, but take us in the huddle. What happened? Like, if it popped off because of what? Because on TV?
remember, I'm on the sideline. This the defense is in the game.
Yes.
So,
I know that part.
right,
And
so-
then they wrecked the kicker.
So and now once that happened, it's this is go time. It's a fight. And now it's they rush, we rush. Now whatever, it's a lot of, I'm gonna be honest, the majority of it was just helmet slapping.
Yeah, that's usually what football players
Right.
do.
Some people
I
got
remember Deion Sanders and what was the other guy?
Jerry Rice.
No, it wasn't Jerry Rice. He played
Oh.
for the Falcons.
Oh, Andre Rison.
Andre
Yeah.
Rison.
Okay, I got you. Because he was his former
He was
teammate.
a cowboy,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, I remember those days."
Yeah.
Those days.
So-
that's when football was real.
Yeah. So once that's when they had crackback was allowed and
No, that's when
you didn't get a
were
penalty after
gladiator
every
and
big hit.
It is what it was.
Yeah, it's different now. It's a different game.
Now you play tag.
Right. So once they split it up, we had to keep playing the game, but they kicked out, I think, 11 of our guys. Started this, started here, started there, started. So now we're depleted. So I think we ended up losing that game 35-0, 35-7, whatever.
After the
it
whole
was.
fight.
Yeah, after the whole
But
fight. But it
the
was
fight erupted. It went
it was terrible, right? So then
there's like an image of you that came out on the paper. And it looks like you were swinging.
Nah, I had my yellow mouthpiece in my hand. I was trying to break it up. I was literally like, I basically was saying, matter of
You
fact,
know it's a true story when they say the color of the mouthpiece. He said it was a yellow mouthpiece.
It was a yellow mouthpiece. So, yeah, so I didn't even know I was suspended. I remember after that, I had went to, this is October.
But you were suspended because of the image.
No.
It looked like you were, or just because you stepped on the field.
Yeah, because I was on the field, and anybody who was on the field that wasn't supposed to be on the field, automatically you're in the wrong. Because you shouldn't even be out here.
Correct.
Right?
But you didn't even think.
No, of course not. But they can't hold that true because everybody was on the field. They can't suspend everybody. So they end up.
So was that a team school? Like
they were celebrated by their school. We got put on like conduct probation, but I had to sign paperwork you guys
don't gross that much money.
That's crazy. So I ended up getting suspended the next game. How I found out I got suspended the next game was I was at Halloween Horror Nights, and my cousin Jonah called me. He's like, "Hey," I'm like, "What up?" He's like, "You suspended this game?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "What do you mean? How am I suspended? I didn't even do nothing." He's like, "Bitch, your name Julian Reams?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You suspended this game." I was like, "Damn." Yeah. So by then we had
just the game suspension.
One game. We had gotten a new AD that had came over from UM, and
that's athletic director.
Yeah, athletic director. He came over from UM, and then at the end of that season, they fired Don Strock, and they hired Mario Cristobal, who was at UM, who was at that game, who rushed the field. Oh, so he was a part of that fight, and then the very next year he became the head coach at FIU.
Wow, and you had to play for this guy?
Yeah, I played for him 2 years.
And how did it go?
It was interesting. Now, while we're doing this, okay, funny story, transitioning, right? So now we're in the 2007 season. Now they're finally going to build us a stadium. Yes. Because before we was covering the track with those wooden bleachers.
That's when I started going to FIU.
Okay, perfect. So now this is 2007. So all of our home games in 2007 were played at the Orange Bowl. That's where we play all our home games. So I say that to transition into, remember that first concussion I was telling you about? All right. So this one's maybe I remember this one. So we were practicing at the Orange Bowl. We were practicing at the Orange Bowl, and
the old school Orange Bowl?
Yeah, the old school.
Yeah. I missed that.
The old school Orange Bowl. So we it was a screenplay. Whatever, got it, gained like 6-7 yards, tripped up. But the way I fell, the first thing to hit the floor was my forehead. Boom, right? So I get up, we go back to the huddle. I'm in like almost like autopilot because I'm already tired. So I'm in like that.
You're tired.
Yeah.
Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm. So it's all right, this
forehead
is why we train. Right. Get up, get in the huddle. They call like the most, not basic, but routine play that you know back of your hand.
And you
like
can't
firm
figure
92 line, ready, break. And I'm like, what's that? And it was like, what's that? And then the center was like, oh shit, hey coach, get him out of here. So whatever, I go to the sideline and I'm standing there and my homie was standing next to me and I asked him a question and he answered it, but he looked at me funny. He goes, hey Jew. I'm like, what's up? He's like, well, you just asked me that like 8 seconds ago.
You asked him again.
And yeah, and I didn't realize that's the second time I had to ask him.
Skipped time.
For sure. So then now he's like, hey, y'all come. So then they looked at me, went through protocol. I missed like we could practice, whatever.
Which is right.
Right. And then that was
week
that.
Is
but
not enough.
That was still during while we were training.
Okay.
And then the next one I remember was my senior year. We were playing Iowa, Hawkeyes up at Iowa.
Oh.
Their locker room is ill because it's all pink, some psychological. The tables, the ground, the lockers, the ceiling, everything is pink in the visitor locker room. I guess it's supposed to subdue you or make you like
Inter Miami.
Yeah,
you
play some. They play some psychological game. So, it's a play right before the halftime. We had the ball. We throw an interception. So I'm going to make the tackle, and as I dive to make the tackle, it feel like somebody cracked at me. Boom! So I just go black, and
that's what I felt. You didn't see it.
No, I didn't see it coming.
You just heard it.
Right. And I just was like, whoa, wait a minute. So as I look, put my head up. As I put my head up.
Yeah, that way you could speak into it. I want people to hear this.
So as
Like
I
this, look right here in front of you. Bam.
as I put my head up after I got hit, the earth was like going like this, but it was spinning too. Like, you know how them cameras now where you stand on it and
Yeah.
if that's what it felt like. And I put my head back down.
That's ultra.
So at halftime, I was like, dang, did I make it? Like somebody cracked back me. They was like, nah, you made the tackle, but he needs you as he's in his running motion. It was a
Oh, and he
big
hit
ass
you
linebacker,
again.
Big 10 linebacker with the knee me, bam, right in my head. And it made my little brain shake, and that's what happened. So I didn't play the second half of that game, but I don't think I missed. I think I played the following week.
Did you
So-
throw up?
Nah, it never made me vomit. I never threw up. I know that's
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like
Yeah.
goalies, sometimes when they go up and grab the ball, their elbows are right, like boom, and they hit people like in the temple. And I've seen players like
What?
and just start throwing up, and you're like, whoa. You're like, whoa, you're all right. You know, yeah, I'm fine. Let's go. And then they're like, nah. Cool.
Yeah, you gotta chill.
So I've seen it happen. It does happen.
No way.
So you got the concussion. That was your third one.
That I can remember. Yeah, clear.
That was
as day.
senior year.
That was senior year. That was 2008.
So football was your main focus.
Art
was like something of the past, or it was just a hobby.
So it was a hobby, and that same homie from high school. Let me go back to probably my second year in college. My friend from high school that I was in all those art classes with, he hit me. He's like, "Hey, you ever thought about tattooing?" And I was like,
"Oh, that's right." You got.
I was like, "Not really." He's like, "Think about it, bro. We all have bread in our pocket." I was like, whatever, cool." So I gave it a thought, and I dabbled, but nothing serious, nothing intense. And then
a different medium, though.
Yeah, it is. It was like learning. It actually changed the way I drew.
Really?
Yeah.
It improved it?
It
made you be more precise.
It reconstructed it.
Oh,
so
the style has a tattoo.
Yeah, it has influence for sure, just on structure and building it. But so then I started to dabble in tattooing.
Okay.
And
this is after college.
This is in college.
In college, in the dorms.
In the dorms.
Who's next?
Facts. And
$20.
The way that happened. Remember that portrait? Remember that portrait I told you about?
Yeah.
That was hanging up in my room. So they already knew that, hey, boy, this boy could paint.
The portrait that you drew in your first class of art.
In college is
so
hanging
they
up.
Knew you had
so now they're like, oh, this boy, he got something, right? So they're
okay.
like, you know, back then they're like, tap me up, bro, practice on me.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of guys who were willing to allow me to, you know, kind of just work on the craft.
Okay.
So I worked on it for some years. I always kept it small and minimal because I knew I would get better. I didn't want to like hack nobody. And then eventually,
small minimum, what, like little just stars, like, or
no, like
something simple?
Little, nothing bigger than a grapefruit.
Got it.
You know,
okay.
No portraits. Nothing like I was okay with being like, nah, bro, I'm not ready for that. Like, I don't want to do it. You know,
I'm not at that level yet.
Right. I had the self-awareness to know, you know what I mean? So that was that. So now art is being reintroduced. Now I'm taking an art class every semester. I'm getting this minor in this. Now I'm dabbling in the art. I'm still playing football.
How you juggling the whole practice, football, school, tattooing, art?
Just prioritize a little bit of here, a little bit of there. You know, you kind of
self-awareness.
You make room for it. And again, I think me coming up, seeing that my old boy, he had his day job, but he also like did a lot of
the blueprint,
extracurricular activities. He would make
Did
sure.
you ever ask him like, yo, Dad?
Nah, I just watched him. And it was a lot of, we didn't really verbally communicate a lot. It just was always around each other a lot. Like even with all the football games he had, he didn't really critique me. He'd say, good game. He'd say, I'm proud of you. But he wasn't like.
There's a really famous quote. I forget who said the quote because I suck with names. But I remember shit like. And then the quote states that never tell your kids how to live. Show them.
That's dope.
Show them how to live.
Damn.
And that's when I was like, okay.
That's heavy.
So like you're not really supposed to pressure and push and do. It's like, yo, watch me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's dope.
Like I live by that.
That's hard.
That because I never liked anybody telling me do this. You have to do this. I was like, yo, man, stop. Like it annoys me.
Of course, I could.
But if I look up to you, you're a cool person. I have respect for you, and then I see you moving in a certain manner, I learn from that.
Right.
And that's self-awareness.
100%.
All right. So you were dabbling in everything, and you were juggling, and you were straight.
Yeah, I was doing well. I had my first son in 2007. So this is my junior year in college. I had my first son.
Okay.
And so now I'm juggling that. Now I'm off campus. So now it's like, what's up? So now this is '07. This is Cristobal's first year there. Now I got a kid. So now I got to have extra communication with him because I got to get out of practice early because I got to pick up Shorty. Because this is just, he's across the
They
street
were
at the
cool with that?
daycare. Gotta be. I'm going to get my son, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that made me grow up. I'm not going to lie. That kid, like,
so it was a blessing.
yeah, 100%. He put something in me that's just like,
that. Like
you got to step,
Hell yeah.
you got to step.
Same here.
Yeah.
My son was born. It was like, okay.
Yeah, it was just like a automatic thing. And, you know, it's still, in hindsight, I could have attacked it better. I could have tweaked it. I could have did other things.
No,
You know what I'm saying? But
I tell this to everybody. The universe does not make mistakes. We do, because we have fear.
facts.
And because of fear, you don't listen to your intuition or recognize your self-awareness, and your self-concept collapse.
Yeah.
And then you do what you think is right, but you're not really thinking properly because you're
Facts.
working out of fear.
That's
So when I heard this other quote,
true. Uh-huh.
it's like people that are afraid
Mm-hmm.
are people that are guilty or people that are evil. If you're neither, like you don't.
Oh, shit.
What are you afraid of?
Right.
You know what I'm
is
saying? You make a mistake. Oh shit, my bad.
Right.
But to be afraid, like
Right.
something's gonna happen,
And that attracts a certain energy.
correct. We're back to that.
Yeah, and now it's like,
The construct of
you-
everything
I
consists of vibrations, right?
yeah,
That's why all vibing. I'm vibe. You have a good vibe.
for sure.
It all constructed from that.
For sure. I tell people all the time, it's like, it's almost like you're asking for it. Because you say, oh, what if this? I'm worried. And the universe is like, oh, you worried? Here goes some more. I'm worried. Which one you said, worry?
You bring it into
Yeah, and it's just
fruition.
like, that's what
It's like,
that's
don't-
what you're attracting.
What is it that they say? Don't wish that upon me, or don't bring that upon me, or something like that. Whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's exactly what
A lot of people, they rebuke it too. Like, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Like, if you say something like negative, they'll rebuke it.
Yeah,
And even that, and, you know, it's,
I like that rebuke.
I rebuke. But it, once I heard that concept and I sat back and I thought about it, I'm like, damn, that's true. If I'm constantly just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And you know, they have all these things that they tell you to do, to write down like 7 times a day what you, and it's
But you
all
know
it is
why that
reaffirming.
You know why that is? Okay, so the process of everything that exists is from a thought.
Okay.
So if you bring, we're like antennas.
Okay.
If you bring a thought,
Yeah.
it's not the first. You're not the first person to think of it
Right.
in billions of years of existence. You are just like a little antenna that brings in that thought.
Okay.
So from that realm, the only way to bring it to this 3D realm
Uh-huh.
is to process it through the 2D realm, which is 2D, pen, paper.
Right.
So if you think about building a house, what's the first thing you do?
Do it on paper.
You draw it out.
Yeah, you need that.
And then from that, you could read it, and then you construct it to the third dimension.
Facts.
And then the feeling from that third dimension is what takes you to the fourth dimension, which is the feeling. You understand?
Yeah, the
And then you have more dimensions, but
yeah,
that is
it's
beyond
far out.
our
Yeah.
knowledge.
That's and that's the part
That's when you start becoming crazy to the normal people.
right, because you can't.
No, because they can't understand past the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
They just want to feel.
Right. They're good. They're good there. I'm good here.
I'm good there. I obtained. I have. I am. I'm good here.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay,
No.
now what?
Right.
And then they're like, what do you mean what? It's
Yeah.
just, this is what it is.
Don't be weird, Gene.
Gene, you're weird. You're crazy,
Nah,
Gene.
yeah,
Oh, you don't know how long I've been hearing that. I
It's
think
just,
my real name is You're Crazy, Gene.
you know, you actually the first one when you just cut me up one day. You put me on to like maybe do some research on the Anunnakis. That was you, bro, and that was years ago. So it's I'm sure you were probably waiting patiently for, not even realizing it, for
No, I
it
tell
to
this
be
to everybody,
more-
bro, that the brain is like a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it's not going to get bigger.
facts.
It's not going to process faster. It's just going to be a weight in your skull.
Right.
So when I was a kid, I used to get in a lot of trouble, and my mom, I guess she got tired of whooping my ass. So she bought an encyclopedia because we couldn't afford a computer. So she would always say, I'm going to work. Pick a book, study it. When I get back, you're going to tell me what you learned.
Oh, shit.
And I had an encyclopedia.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I used to get in trouble a lot. So I used to read a lot of stories and a lot of facts
Mm-hmm.
about all types of new things that I had no idea about.
Yeah,
I was
what
like,
is
what?
this?
I was like, what? I was like, the Amazon has a different soil than what? And
That's
I used to
dope.
be like telling these stories to my friends,
Right.
and nobody would be. Everybody would look at me and be like, "Bro, you're weird. What are you talking about? Nobody cares." And I'm
Right.
like, "Okay."
Right.
But that's what sparked it. So I was doing the whole
That's hard.
YouTube, Google searching
Right.
before
For
YouTube
sure.
and Google.
For sure.
Because when I would hear about something in school, I'll be like, "Wait up," and I'll go home and I had the encyclopedia, so I would be like, "Brrr, blah," and then I'll look and I was like, I knew she was wrong.
Oh, that's crazy.
But check this out. This is when I used to get in trouble in school because
'Cause
I
you
used to go
check 'em.
back and I used to
Yeah.
check them, and they used to be like, "Gene, please go outside." And I'm like, "Why?" They're like, "Just wait for me in the hallway." And I'll go to the hallway, and the teachers will be like, "Gene, you cannot disrupt my class. You cannot." And I'm like, "But it's not like you're wrong, teacher."
Right.
Like Christopher Columbus is not the first person in North America.
Right. I'm just telling you.
Like the Vikings from Kakasan are the ones that first came. You know what I'm saying? So, and then she's like, "Gene, we have to follow a curriculum." So that's when I started understanding. I was like, "Oh, this is like a system."
For sure.
And then
Structured.
the more I started realizing, and I was like, I don't want to be like the same way I was in college. That I
Right.
felt like that's how I felt all the time.
Damn,
in
so
school.
that was probably,
That's when I had the spark.
yeah,
That's why I always ask everybody, "When did you have the spark?"
that's crazy.
But like you were on auto drive.
Yeah, it was auto because I was. It's almost like I'm just gonna do this.
The road was
act-
paved for you.
I was in activities, so that's why it's like I'm so busy doing homework, playing sports, going to practice, painting. I'm sleeping. Then I'm
All right,
doing
so
that.
now college is over.
Okay, so
Football, over.
so now college is over, football is over, and once football ended, I got my degree. I sat down at some job interview. I'm in there. I'm like, nah, so I can do this shit.
Job interview for the degree that you
Yeah,
obtained.
yeah. But I'm in there and I'm just uncomfortable because I'm just like,
Intuition.
it's not me. Yeah.
Not my tribe.
Right. And I'm just like, well, I at least gotta try. And then I'm like, yeah, you try. Yeah, do that. And then like maybe two times before they call my name, like, I'm out, yo. I just left. And I'm
What
like,
was this for? What job?
it was some type of marketing job. I don't even know. It was an entry level I'm just trying to get something, you know? So it's like
You felt out of place,
yeah,
or did you feel intimidated?
I felt out of place. I wasn't impressed. I don't know what would have impressed me, but it just felt like it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? Just like with you in college,
Yeah,
you're
man.
looking at these big buildings that have all these millions of dollars of what they call when they give money of like
Boosters?
donation, yeah, and all the you're looking around like, yo, this place is weird.
I felt weird in a sense because it's not something I always dreamed about.
Right.
Like you, I just want to play sports, right? And if I didn't play sports, I just want to get my degree so I could like finish the promise that I gave my grandmother.
Right.
And when I did, I looked at her. I goes, "I told you, I promised."
Did
I
that.
did it.
Yeah.
And then she was all crying.
That's dope.
I know you." I
That's
was like,
dope.
"All right." And then I was like, "Now what?" And then I went and did what you did, but I didn't feel I don't like this place. I went and worked corporate,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like it.
No.
Nah, because it was very repetitive.
Right.
There wasn't no. I didn't feel inspired. I didn't feel like I was around people that were wanting to do more. I just felt I was around people that wanted to maintain numbers, and like it was just a corporate structure. I did not like. Wasn't my tribe.
Yeah.
But I did it for a while because I was doing that in the daytime, and at nighttime I would go cut hair. So I didn't know this,
There
but
you go.
cutting hair was my release, and I understood it when I got to the shop, and then they would be like, "Yo, Gene, you don't shut up. When you come here, you're like blah blah blah." I was like, "You don't understand. I'm in an office where everybody's like, yes,
Right,
sir,
all
no, sir.
day,
Yes,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
right away, sir. Yes, oh, card. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Nah, I'm in the yo, what's up? You saw what LeBron did?
Right.
I'm into that love.
Right.
There was no love in
That
this place.
sounds healthier.
It was.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helped me through like the years of the corporate life. But then I decided to give up the corporate life and the money because I was making good money. I was like,
Gotcha.
bro, I don't want this fucking
That's
money,
dope though. That's dope. Like,
knowledge yourself.
yeah, that is
Self-awareness.
that's for a lot of people, they're not willing to sacrifice like financial gains for what's on the other side.
Because of status.
Right. Well, not even just that unknown, and what they don't realize is that unknown.
I
Looking
love the
back,
unknown.
right?
I love the unknown.
because
Why?
it could
Because
be.
I always learn. And when I learn, I could tell people, I always tell my clients when they leave. I tell you sometimes, yo, don't do anything I would do. And then they like, oh, okay.
For sure.
But it's true. It's like, yo, man, I'm willing to like explore and like
right.
get to that fourth dimension, or maybe in my travels,
Uh huh.
I might learn something that might help somebody in the like in foresight in the future.
Right.
And if I could do that, I think it's a good thing. And it has come to my attention now that I'm older.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that, like when you told me right now, like, damn, I learned about the Anunnaki. As soon as you learned about the Anunnaki
Mm-hmm.
or the term Anunnaki or what it is,
Right.
you researched it. And that little simple thought just sparked the whole
It opened.
world.
It opens, and you're just like, you sit back and you're like, man. And you said something earlier, and I know that I don't know everything, and in knowing that, again, it opens.
Yeah.
It's really like, wait a minute, like, why not?
I always tell everybody, look, all I know is that I don't know, but I could argue with you all day.
right. Facts.
I have enough information to tackle any of your facts.
yeah.
And if I don't tackle them, then I'll be like, okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't get upset.
Right. I have an
analogy.
It's kind of far out, but it's like, can you explain Wi-Fi or an airplane to a fish? It's like, of course you can't.
Of course you
But
can.
guess what? They coexist. It's still there. It's right there. It's just that
Well,
information is outside of their realm, so they don't, it's not even. It's right there, but it's not even a thought.
Well, I think what you're talking about is like whales and sonar. Like they could speak to each other through vibrations.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's just an example
or
of
like dolphins.
right.
They use sonar.
Yeah.
So it's like Wi-Fi. They send a message and they get it from nowhere.
Oh, that's dope.
And that comes from their dome.
That's dope.
So it's
I see in cartoons where they reenact it and they do. And
that
they
is
have
true. It is a true statement.
Yeah.
And you want to listen, your mind's going to go like this. So there's a study. Again, I don't know the names because I suck with names, but I remember what I read. There's a study that NASA did that they recorded the sound of planets, right? Then they played back what they recorded, and then they heard like a symphony of sounds. So then I'm thinking to myself, if a planet makes noise, and then if a planet is an organism, and it's communicating with other planets, that's language.
Yeah.
And that's what that whole thing was about, that they believe that planets communicate.
Well, you heard about the thing with trees communicating.
Yes.
That, to me, that's crazy. You know, I look at tree differently.
I learned about that when I saw the documentary on Netflix about fungus. And all fungus is grown, but only the poisonous is poisonous as soon as the tree roots gather information that there's a danger nearby. So it creates poison in the mushroom.
Oh.
But the poison is a psychedelic. It's not a death.
Right.
Maybe some of them are deaf. So like if you get near that tree or near that place and you eat that, you die.
Right.
So that's like a self-defense.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, that's
insane. I was like, what?
That's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Think about it.
It is, because that's what with the tree thing, how they communicate with them. They send off like a signal or a chemical and tell them to send off that way. That thing doesn't like it.
Or the study that one room has a plant and they talk bad to it, negative, and then one they talk beautiful, pure, and this one grows beautiful, and this one's like,
yep, with the jar.
Crazy.
That's wild. That's
wild.
Those are things that I think they don't get enough credit or definition or thought,
because they're not facts.
Yeah.
Or if they are facts, they're like, that doesn't interest me in my life, my
it has
capitalist
nothing
life.
to do, right?
It doesn't bring me no dough.
You gotta wake up tomorrow.
That's not gonna help me pay my bills. I'm like, well, okay, guy.
Waste of time.
So now you're not corporate. You're out of college.
So now
you're done whooping the UM's ass.
So first year out of college, I think I got my degree. I'm like, I guess a tattoo.
How does that okay, self-concept. You got out of college, all right? You thought, did you have it like, okay, I'm going to the pros? Did you have that in mind?
So with football, I was in love with what football could have brought in. I wasn't necessarily in love with the sport, and that's where I think that's what helped me back for sure, always, because I saw a lot of guys
go down
that grew up with and they chase it, chase you for years, and then
It
they
brought
blink, and
depression,
they're 25, and it's like, now what do I do
Yeah, but
now?
you're blessed in the sense that you have this art form.
Absolutely, 100%.
If you didn't have this art form, think about it.
100%. Well, that was always secretly number one. It was always there. Never was away from me. First year out of college with the degree, I was like, well, I'm just gonna kick it. Tattoo. I made $20,000 cash
Before you even painted any type of canvas or anything, or you painted on the low.
Yeah, painting was more to
But
this
it wasn't
point.
like where you have it now.
No. To this point, painting is something I did more for school. I hadn't outsourced yet, and like done a commission here or there, maybe one a year. Somebody randomly asking you,
Yeah.
But nothing to the
Solid.
scale, right? Nothing at all. So
So it wasn't Jubinski.
I got the name Jubinski in high school, bro. I don't even know how, but it was on my Letterman jacket the other day. I'm like, damn, I've been rocking that since like 03, 04.
How does it go from Julian to Jubinski?
It must have been, I don't even know the origin of Jubinski, to be honest with you.
Wow.
It literally
You
is
gotta
like,
find out.
so it was, they used to call me Juju Bean. And then, as you get older, that sounds like adolescent, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to something. So then it was Jew Bean, Jew, and then Jew Bean. I said one day, I was like, Jubinski. I'm like, oh, that's kind of hard.
So pretty much you started tattooing, you were painting. I remember seeing you at an art basel at Churchill's.
Yeah.
That was like, what, 2010, 2011?
That probably was 2011.
I remember that. And I was like, yo,
That
this
probably
is...
2000. I did what else? I did a Michael Myers.
I don't know what it
think
was,
it was
but
a
I remember
Michael. I
going
think it was
up
a
to you and
Michael.
being like, yo,
I think it was a
this
Michael.
is dope.
I think it was a Michael Myers.
And
yeah.
then you were like, oh, thank you, bro. I was like, nah, man, this is dope. So then you start, that's what I believe that's when you started, but you were working with the city at that time or no?
No, I got that job in 2012.
So how did you get into it? You just went to the academy, did your thing?
Yeah, I did it. So the first year out, I made 20,000 cash in 09. Like, yeah. Second year, I made like 50 cash. I'm just tattooing. Mostly tattooing. Okay. I was just like, oh, this is straight. But so I also
you're aware of the finances.
Right. I was on top of everything, paying bit. I'm an adult now.
Yeah.
So now I gotta pay rent. I gotta pay daycare. I got, my mom's help, whatever. So but it was like handling it.
Yeah.
And it's like I seen you said on I saw one of the episodes how with barbering, you always had a lot of cash. Right?
Yeah.
Same thing back then. It was nothing digital. It was everything was cash money.
Yeah.
So I always had like wads of cash. Like, it's straight. But I knew it was a hustle.
Correct.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to.
Not professional.
There you go. I was like, well, I don't want to hustle. I was aware. Right. So I was just like, damn, let me see what I could do. So then I took the bread I made and I went and I got my EMT and I did my fire cert.
Which college it prepared you for? Because you already
because I already know exactly. So now I know, okay, this is a game.
So this was just another obstacle.
For sure. And that's everything I just said, that's only 7 months of schooling. You just break it up. You do 3 months for the EMT, and then you do 4 months or 3 months for the fire.
Yeah, I did the EMT, and then I didn't.
And that's for a career. 7 months of school for a career, bro. And I'm looking back, I'm sitting back like, damn, I just sat here, did 4 years, got this degree, and I'm just like, yo, this is.
So you became a firefighter, or was it a paramedic, or
it was a firefighter EMT.
Firefighter EMT.
So then I did that.
So that was the job that you were doing.
I started that in 2012.
And then the painting was like, because you have 7 or 6 days off. What is it? 5
so
days
it's you work 24 on, 48 off. So in a month it's like 10. Yeah, it's 10 days of 24-hour shifts, and then the rest of the time is your time. So I remember I got a townhouse in Cutler Bay, and I was like, you know what? And this is like 2010, 2011. And I was like, I want to like paint bigger. So I was like, I'm going to paint on this wall. So at first I started painting like the Bride of Frankenstein on there. And I just
was it calling, or do you think you were just bored?
Probably a calling. I think it was a calling because I wasn't satisfied in my art production. Like I didn't.
Once you did that wall, you're like, okay, you got confidence.
Day one, I was like, damn, confidence was through the floor because it wasn't flowing. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't like how this flows. This don't look good to me.
Okay.
Next day, stabbed at it, and like a flip of a switch, boom, it came together, and I'm like, there it is. It is. Like, you ever seen them? I think it's Spike Lee joints where something drastic happens and it zooms in on him.
That happened in real life?
Zooms out
That
on
happened in
him
real
and then
life?
zooms in.
Whoa.
Yeah, you know the cinematography.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and I was just, it was like a eureka moment. I was like,
So tell people, man, because you have artwork all over the city, man. Sometimes I drive and I'm like, oh, that's Jew.
yeah. So it's that free art. You know, Wynwood has changed now. It's going north. All these buildings are going up. But I
Yeah,
had an
now you're doing what? North. What's the high school? You're
right
doing?
now I'm doing the locker room at Miami Northwestern High School.
Miami Northwestern. Go check out Drew's page. You're gonna see what he did. That's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
I have so
At
over
the spot, you have like 3 or 4 portraits.
This, what do I have? So I have the Muhammad Ali,
The Muhammad Ali in Edgewater.
You
have in Dayland the Elvis.
Elvis in
That you did
Dayland
on the corner.
Yeah,
That's hard.
That one is.
People don't realize
that
how
was
hard that is.
That one's underrated. I ain't gonna lie. I actually I eat at Lime with my girl and my daughter a lot. And one day I went by there and I was like, oh shit. So I walked in with her. I was full of paint because I was doing something else. And I had my daughter and I made her take a picture about it. And they looking at me like,
who are you?
Yeah, boy, you look, you come here, you ain't getting a cut. You just,
don't even know.
And I just like, oh my bad, I just want to take a picture, you know. And I just,
you didn't let them know.
Nah, it wasn't. It was too. It was an in and out thing, but it's cool because on the signature, it had 2 dots. So now I do 3 dots for her.
Now you have the 3 dots for the 3 kids.
So now it's 2 dots for her.
Yeah, people don't know. Drew has 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 beautiful little girl.
Thank you.
Man. Beautiful little girl, and then I always see him with her, and I'm like, damn, that's dope.
Yeah, no, I love her. She's
awesome. She has a spark.
Yeah, she's different. She's different.
She's gonna be she's gonna take you out the hood.
Yeah, she's definitely different. So I have the Muhammad Ali, the Sean Taylor one in the Grove.
Yes.
The Frank Sinatra one was that in downtown
Dayland.
Miami? Dayland? Frank Sinatra?
Oh no, that's in downtown. Yeah.
And then which one is?
So it's 4 of them.
And then don't forget the Miami Lakes, the fight, the
Mayweather Holyfield.
Yeah.
No, Mayweather Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Is that it? 4?
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yeah.
But I could tell in that one you were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I think that was it.
But they're dope. They're dope. They're all, everybody that comes into the shop is like, wow, these are, who made? I was like, yo, that's my boy, man.
Remember the story with the gloves on the Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, let's not tell that story. If you guys
funny.
want to find out what we're talking about, go to Edgewater shop and look at the Muhammad Ali picture and look at the gloves and you understand what we're talking about.
It's really dope.
So then, yeah, fast forward, man. Like, you have all this artwork. You have so much accomplishments. You have a career. You have kids.
Mm-hmm. Busy.
I love winning. I love it.
Yeah, but I appreciate it. Busy. It's the same structure where it's just like
you followed the path.
If you stay
intuition, self-awareness, self-concept.
Staying busy keeps you out of trouble too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, but you seem like a conscious person.
For sure. It's a lot of thought. A lot of thought. And that's the thing I think is what helps genius when people have that turned on to where you're self-evaluating and you're there, you're in the moment, but you're still communicate with yourself on it.
I'm playing football for a college and I'm getting full right, but I gotta go take care of my daughter. Like you were balancing, and I think you did a really good job, and I salute you for that.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
So now we're here and we're talking about everything. If you were able to talk to yourself, let's say when you first started, let's say 10 years old, what advice would you give Jew? Oh, he's got to take off his sweater for this one. Well,
tequila.
What advice would you give that 10-year-old Jew? Jubinski.
Probably it's okay to work harder. I didn't conceptually understand the benefits.
Working harder.
Yeah.
So you just did enough?
Yeah, intentionally.
Damn, intentionally. If you just did enough and you got to this point and you accomplished what you accomplished, imagine, holy shit.
It was something that
the universe never makes mistakes.
Right. It was something that was turned on late, and it's just like, you know what? But that's still good information. That's wisdom. So now guess what? Now I'm gonna not force feed, but I'm gonna break it down to now when I talk to my kids and let them know it's not for nothing. I'm not just talking to talk. It's, you learn certain things as you go along, and it says how like preparation kills anxiety.
Yes.
With a lot of things. It's like, bro, if you prepare, if you prep, you're
too busy prepping.
You're rewarding your future self, because now you're like, damn, you're making it easier on me because you did that. Now imagine if you just said, I ain't doing that, and now tomorrow, like, man, I got to do all this. I could have did it last night and I didn't. And now,
so that's what you would say.
Not in depth. I would just let myself know. Don't be afraid to. I think fear holds a lot of people back that uncertainty. And I think fear can come from lack of self-esteem, more
yourself,
timidness,
yeah.
right?
You're looking up to people that really are not anybody you should think that is qualified to inspire you.
Right.
But then again, that comes with the whole understanding, knowledge of self.
Right. And a lot of times that's why it's constant, like continuous education. It's like you're never too old to learn. You're never too old to still pick things
keep
up.
Learning.
You have to.
Constant education.
Positivity. You gotta, and it's not even unrealistic positivity, but it's just looking at it for what it is.
Bright side, live righteous and understand that the process
righteousness.
is due.
Righteousness is important because it's like
I think it's number one.
It has to be because of your intention.
Correct.
It's another way of talking about that.
To be a good person, you got to do what's right, and which makes you a righteous thinker, righteous being, righteous person.
You know what a big one is with that though is humility. Like
humility. That one's hard for me because I be sometimes like my girl checks me sometimes because I be getting frustrated. I'm getting frustrated, and I be looking at her like, "Yo, you serious? Like these people?" And then she's like, "Gene, everybody has." The same thing in that experience. And I'm like, and then she brings me back down.
It's true. That's good. That's dope.
So that's a good one.
But it's for sure.
So now that you're talking about fear, the other question that I always ask all the guests is, have you watched the Bronx Tale? The movie?
Yeah, that's the one where he tells his son, like, see if she reach over and unlock the door.
Yes.
Where?
Well, there's a scene where Sonny asks the kid, the kid asks Sonny, he's like, would you rather be feared or loved? What do you think about that question?
Like, which one would I rather?
Yeah, because he's a mobster.
Right.
But he's being like loving to him and stuff. And then he's showing love back. But then other people are like fearful of him. So he's like, yo, do you rather be feared or loved? And then his response was, that's a good question.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be both.
Yeah. It's
but
true.
But if I had a choice, I would rather be feared. That's what he said. But then I ask all the guests, what do you think?
I think it's important I think in his line of work, it's a no-brainer.
The fear?
Of course, you have to. Yeah. But like, and when you think about me, I think job number one for me is dad. You know, like, that's so awesome. I know it's love. But guess what? Some people though,
But those kids fear. I know your kids because I cut their hair.
Right.
And if you're mad,
right,
that's fear.
But I think that was another thing I was gonna say. Sometimes people intentionally make the decision to, and like parenthood.
Yeah.
To say, okay, I'm gonna play this role. So sometimes I'm gonna do things that I don't want to do, but it's for the betterment of.
I told my daughter that. I was like, look, you're gonna hate every decision I make for you.
For sure.
But you're not gonna be a story like, oh, she was this and this happened.
For sure.
Or like, I'm not gonna fail in that.
Right.
I'd rather you hate me.
Right. And you do it right. Yeah.
And nothing happens to you.
100%.
I did my job.
Yeah.
She understood.
But that takes awareness.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's almost like you have to.
This is what we're trying to get across.
Right. So it's important. It's just. I'd say that a lot of things in my life and a lot of things I do is unorthodox. I like that word. Like I'm kind of a maverick. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's the title to your magazine.
There you go.
Unorthodox. Then you draw the picture.
Word.
Boom. We were talking about this new project he has, and I'm like, and he wanted to do like you'll see.
Yeah, it'll come.
So then the last question that I always ask all the guests is perception or reality?
That's a really good question because everyone's reality is different. That's the crazy part.
That's the best part.
Everyone's reality is different, right?
That is the essence of life.
Yeah. And even from you could break that down on so many levels.
Correct. You
could break that down on what sex you are, what you identify as, what race you are, where you are in life, age-wise, human race.
Correct.
Nationality.
Invisible lines.
There you go. The barriers. Crazy. And you know what's crazy about that invisible lines is it downscales. So it's just like, where you from? Cali? I'm from Florida. Oh, all right. Where you from? Florida? I'm Florida too. Where you from? I'm from up here. I'm from down here. All right,
Miami's
watch this.
Not Florida.
But watch this. We both from Miami. Where you from? You from down south or up north? It's like, damn. Even, oh wait, we both down south. Where you from? Oh, you from Prime? Oh, I'm from Richmond Heights. It's like, why is it? And it could go down.
When people always tell me where you from, I'm like, Earth.
Dope.
and they laugh at me, and I'm looking at them.
Dude,
Like,
it
they're
never.
laughing at me now.
Yeah, it never.
But in 30, 40, 50 years, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It never ends though. It's crazy, and even in like
It doesn't.
sports,
It doesn't. It doesn't
What do you-
because we don't. Our history doesn't go that far back in the sense of like what we've been told or taught. Bro, the planet is billions of years old, and we only know a couple 100,000 years of the history. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
Empires fall.
Facts.
People feel comfortable with like, oh, I'm a United States citizen. I was like, that doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I think anything can happen.
So perception or reality? You gotta. Nah, you got.
I would
not,
say
not
no,
that you gotta
no,
pick
no, no.
one, but we gotta
I'll say
pick your brain.
I'll say reality because I think a lot of times we run from reality of things
Because the perception is wrong.
when our faces buried in our phones or we're in autopilot playing video games or we're just trying to get away from something, right? For sure. So you're trying to get away from that.
So
So
the reality is whatever presents it to you. That's what you're trying to say.
I think reality is a better answer than perception because reality is what it is. Perception is what it seems. Exactly. It's less concrete. So I would go reality.
I bet. All right, you bro. It's been an awesome interview. You've answered other questions. It's been awesome. I've had a great time.
For sure.
Let everybody know where they could find you, man.
You can
What's
find
next?
Our page is Jubinsky, Jubeanski. Right now I'm working on a that locker room at Miami Northwestern. He said he wants to do the whole locker room. So they hired Teddy Bridgewater back as a high school head coach. He played football there. Yeah, he played in the National Football League for a while. Now he's a head coach there, which I come in because man can sit at home all day and hang out, and he's giving back to them kids, and he's pouring into those kids. So that's super dope. So he has plans for the facilities. So I got in touch with him through my homie Steve, and just kind of working on the shop and working on the locker room, and that's an ongoing project. So hopefully it'll be done by the beginning of fall, but it may take a little more time. So,
and should we look out for you at Art Basel?
This year, yeah, I definitely want to do something this year. I have a lot of ideas conceptually, so it's about time to get it cracking. Probably in the next.
Been talking about it for a minute.
Probably the next month. So I got some notes that once I go over, I could attack. So,
all right,
awesome.
So yeah, man, there you go. You heard it from the man himself, Jubinsky, man, the artist, the father, the professional, the real deal. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching. Live, love, laugh. We out. Peace.